All right, so we had our intro, maybe a day in the life of, perhaps. So if you're anything like me, you have a pretty digitally connected world. So if I have my house as an example, I've got my smart doorbell. I can control my locks. I have a security system that has a camera throughout the house. Nothing crazy, a couple of cameras that are just kind of doing their thing. I have Google Fiber for our particular home as well. And when the power is on, which is on 99.999% of the time for me, living in Draper, Utah, that's all well and good. But when the power goes off, everything shuts off in a blink of an eye. Now, granted, I can put a battery power supply, uninterruptible power supply there, but foundationally, this entire connected world is all speaking DC voltage. And so this in this connected world, we're giving it AC voltage because that's what's familiar to us. But what I want to think about is what happens if I connect some foundational elements in our home using DC voltage natively. So as an example, got a regular light, just a halide, literally just what you can get at Home Depot, right? So with this light, typically what you have is you have a box off to the side, and that's your driver, right? So you give it AC voltage. But we can also give this DC voltage directly. No changing to this light. You can order the exact same halo light fixture if it wanted to. But now with a simple, just different wire we're feeding it, what happens is this light will now last 2.5 times as long. And I can do more stuff with it. The other thing to look at is what if I wanted a regular light bulb? This looks like it's a regular LED light bulb, but this is designed to be supported by DC voltage. So now I can use whatever light fixture I'd like to use, and I can just put in a DC lamp into it. This will also last 2.5 times longer than its AC electrical counterpart. Foundationally, the light switch looks the same too. Now, there's a whole bunch of different brands out here. This happens to be a brand called ATX LED. We're also partners with another company called Lumen Cache. And foundationally, what we would like to do is we'd like to power the lights in the building with DC voltage, and we'd like to do the core IT infrastructure with DC voltage as well. So if you have just a router, your access points, all of these devices natively speak DC voltage when you go down to the circuit board. So all you have to do is pick commercial off-the-shelf parts that have the capabilities, the features we want, and we can do more things with it. So here's a concept. Imagine that you've got a house. It's just a 4,000, 3,000 square foot property. Nice home, right? We take all of the lights and all of the security and IT, and we feed it with 48 volts. That 48 volt DC is now low voltage, so I don't need to use our electricians to install that, just use low volt guys. And as a benefit, all of the controls for that come back into one central location, one panel. So with that, I now have control over all the lights in our home. Additionally, let's say I chose to plug in my access point and my Wi-Fi there. It could be an off-the-shelf to Vivint home security, right? So when we do that, we can connect that back to that DC voltage power distribution. And now instead of needing to spend, say, $15,000 installed for a Tesla Powerwall 3, which we're a Tesla certified installer, so we do those, rather than needing to spend that money, for just a few $1,000s, we can now put a low cost battery that would potentially run that home for hours. So just for a few $1,000s. The benefit there is because there's no AC voltage components that device, there's no switching. It is always on. So now what you've provided your home or your building is the core creature comforts, the internet connectivity, the security cameras, the doorbell, and the lights are all on. So imagine this use case if you've come home, the power went off, somebody hit the telephone pole down the street, and your kids need to do their homework. Well, you've got the Wi-Fi is on, it's still working. You got the lights are on. Yeah, you might not have the AC or the furnace on if it's in the winter, but foundationally, you're able to still live in your home for quite a while for a very, very low cost. In addition to that, if you have an electric vehicle that has bidirectional charging, like the Tesla PowerShare, or you have a Powerwall 3 because you decided to put solar on this home as well, what happens is when the utility goes off, there's a blip, just a fraction of a second. All of that IT equipment turns off, the lights turn off and reset, unless you have them come back to that battery. So now what we would love to provide is that central battery system so that we can then provide DC voltage energy to the lights and core IT loads within that building, residential or commercial, and then leave everything else as it is. Call it a hybrid home or building. And now what we've got is we've got constant power over what matters most in our digitally connected world. So you can check the security cameras, you can let somebody in the door even when the power is off. As a benefit is when you do then add solar or you add a battery energy storage system, we've provided the core functionality that keeps all of that communicating and talking. So now you have a seamless environment. We'll talk about Tesla PowerShare with the Cybertrucks here in a little bit with the next video, but core functionality, just think about taking the same exact stuff we're using already, sometimes literally the same fixture, and just wiring it with DC voltage. What we would like to propose is as Halo Hybrid Solutions, since we are a licensed electrical contractor, we can tackle both the low voltage and the line voltage for you. So you don't need to make a choice, nor do you have to coordinate between subcontractors for who's doing what scope. We'll make sure that that entire cohesive system functions for you. Appreciate it. Thank you.